Anyone familiar with Salt Lake City has probably heard of Gallery Stroll and Artspace on Pierpont Avenue. Filled with an eclectic mix of local artists and shops, for nearly 30 years, Artspace has enticed local talent to occupy studio spaces in an area that was once filled with dilapidated old warehouses. Over the years, artists have moved out, replaced by more high-tech tenants such as Spy Hop. For the past 20 years, though, Mike Green has had his studio space on Pierpont Avenue. Green says he has witnessed huge changes to both Artspace and the surrounding neighborhood.
Sometimes after business hours early in the morning, I'd sit here and watch guys shoot up heroin.
Artspace began in the late 70s when some local artists had a bold idea: convert one of the many abandoned warehouses into a space they could use for art studios.
So they saw this old warehouse that was in an area of town where really no one went. It was before anything was here. The city had not yet discovered the value of these warehouses. And one of the many contributions Artspace gave to this city was really to demonstrate how valuable the warehouses were.
Valuable indeed. The warehouses that the Artspace Corporation now owns and operates are estimated to have a value of well over $20 million. Operating under their nonprofit umbrella today, Artspace is one of the largest development companies in downtown Salt Lake City, with projects in former rubber and tire factory, as well as the new Bridges project, and another massive housing project that they're just breaking ground on. So what are the qualification requirements to live or work in an Artspace unit?
If you are low income, you qualify to be in there. So we don't select just for artists, but there are many artists that live there.
People with money were able to come down and replace some of the artists. Pretty soon the property values go up so much the artists move on to somewhere else, and then you got what I call bourgeois bohemians living in their place.
Norman Klein has been operating his video production facility out of Artspace Pierpont for the past 20 years. Klein had some harsh words for what he believes Artspace has turned into.
Do you remember Weekend at Bernie's where Bernie dies and they drag him around pretend he's alive? Artspace is doing the same thing with art. They're dragging around this dead thing of art they have nothing to do with anymore and doing all their stuff behind it. If you want to be a dirt pimp, a real estate developer, then just be it and own up to being it. There's nothing wrong with that, but the pretense is what gets me.
Spy Hop Productions has been in Artspace for the past 8 years. They're now moving to the new Artspace Bridges development.
It's an Artspace project as well. It'll be twice the size, street level, track stop, and this space was great for the last 7 years.
Many area residents consider the Pierpont Avenue studios to be much more than just space for artists. Many residents attribute Artspace for the huge rebound that the warehouse district of Salt Lake City has seen in recent years. All around Artspace today, buildings are going up. Apartments in the past 10 years have nearly tripled in value. Salt Lake City's population had been in decline during the 1990s, and now it's rapidly becoming somewhat of a mini metropolis. Remarkably, it's the former worst neighborhood that is having the strongest resurgence. However, despite the success of the surrounding neighborhood, Artspace on Pierpont has a very tenuous future. The Artspace Corporation has decided not to renew the lease on the Pierpont studios because they are no longer interested in leasing properties they don't own. Angela Brown is the editor of Slug magazine.
Sad to see this building itself kind of fall to the wayside, and artists, become displaced.
So what does glass artist Mike Green think about this prospect?
I have to deal with the possibility that I may not be able to stay here, which would be tough, and that used to cause a lot of anxiety for me, but lately I've just kind of come to believe that the less time I spend thinking about it, the better off I am. If it happens, it happens. I don't have much control over it. So.